Welcome to another episode of AI Ranch, where we see how AI is shaping the businesses all around the world. And my name is Evalds Urtans. I'm CEO of Asia and researcher of AI and businessman. And now today with me is Arvils Kupris, who is a head of product and innovation at Tele2 Latvia, which is a big thing here. So one of the largest telecom companies in Baltics. He has a 15 years experience in different fields, in different businesses. He started from all sorts of startup companies to the very innovative AI companies and at the end to the largest telecom companies. So it's quite actually a significant journey, I think. And welcome.
Howdy. I'm old. Yeah. When you say about the experience, I feel old already. But it feels like a few days. Actually, the entire experience.
Yeah, really pleasure to meet you here and being off camera and talking so many interesting things. And I think you might be also a great speaker of these things. Actually, it seems that you have with this experience and also the insights of AI, I believe we can dig deep here. So can you share a bit of your background, your education, how did you end up to this position?
Yeah, so we'll start that I'm a son of carpenter, meaning that from the childhood I was working on things and exploring how they work and how to improve the way how they work, which led me to the engineering studies. And I have concluded my bachelor IT studies, and I have a professional degree in programming, although I have programmed as a job just a few hours of my life. I do that as a hobby, though. And the second part I still need to conclude my master's studies in laser technology.
Laser technology?
Yeah. I went there because of the quantum physics, which at that time was hard to find where to study, actually, because it was a question about the determinism and stuff like that, which is like a big question of your life, where you try to find an answer. Is this world deterministic or not? Mm-hmm. But that's the entire different story and I think even an episode. So I'm an engineer in my heart. I'm an object-oriented thinker, which comes as a bonus when you study engineering and IT. From my experience, I have worked mostly in telecoms and media, because I believe those are like a core things that allow our ecosystems to exist. Basically saying, so we communicate, and that's the core. And I have worked in telcos and media. I started as a call center operator, so and that was at the time when you had a billing system where to look up for the upcoming invoice for the customer, you use a command line. And since that, I have seen how telcos have evolved into this reality, which seems organic, and it seems like it has been here forever. We are now talking about 5G and edge computing and even quantum computers that will challenge the cybersecurity at some point, and AI as well. So all those things come as an organic blend of my internal willingness to improve things practically, and from my experience of observing and contributing to transformation of telcos and media companies mostly. And I have worked in new product development mostly. I have worked, as you said, in social networks, like in Draugiem group, the couple of projects there. I have built the company that aims to automate advertisement scheduling for TVs, because surprise, surprise, it's a lot of things is still done by people, and a lot of things are
people are choosing which ads to show at what moment in TV still.
Nowadays. There is some level of that. I mean, a few years ago it was like a nightmare. You have entire floor of people deciding that thing, And when you ask what criteria is driving your choice in each and every second, they say, oh yeah, I'm a professional and I have experience, thus I know how. Rarely it is being challenged by, can I improve amount of euros generated from 1 second of my airtime? And those questions can be asked with AI and can be answered with AI. And that kind of, the AI, I have not studied it in a way, in academic way. Of course, I have run through the LinkedIn Learning courses, some Udemy and Coursera courses because of my my courage. But otherwise, I have not studied AI academically.
You have seen the effects of it.
I have seen effects of it entire life since the early days of generative AI, which we forgot somehow. You remember the time when we tried to write a quick SMS to our friend, and they receive an SMS and it says, "What the duck?" That was T9, which is basically, I think you will agree, a seed of generative AI.
Okay. Yeah, like the technology itself, it maybe viewers have not know this, but the mathematics behind all of the AI models that are taking off in the last 10 years, maybe, they have been like even since the early 90s. So it's all the time there's somebody trying to build these things, and it was not the right time, and now it's absolutely the right time.
That's one of the that's one of the downsides being a product-oriented employee, like a product manager or head of products, that you see some opportunities that are not here yet. I mean, technologically they are there, but people are not willing to because of inertia or because of, I know that AI will outperform me significantly. And there are other reasons as well for that.
So what are some of the key or the most interesting AI projects you have worked so far, like in your experience in different companies, different fields? Can you share some examples?
Oh yeah, the ad scheduling was one of the things that I have worked extensively on by myself. I have also partnered with different AI companies that deliver products to more, let's say, classic industries. And when we talk about AI, usually we think about the hype and all the fancy stuff. But in the end of the day, you go to the sawmill and you automate the saw. I mean, there is this fancy part, which again saw some spotlight last year in February. Since then, we talk about AI and maybe industrialization 5.0, despite the fact that there's no reason to call it that way. And it's the projects that I have seen, the most surprising ones were the ones where AI showed the result, but was not implemented because of the result is too good.
Result is too good.
Yeah.
oh, that's possible.
And I will explain the origin of that, why the decision is being made. I have observed, I have not worked on those projects, unfortunately, because I would like to, but I have observed the few cases in our small market, and I imagine there are a lot of them all over the world, where, let's say you have a conveyor belt, and the output is some sort of let's say a cup. The cup that you sell in IKEA, for example, afterwards. You put a quality officer at the end of that conveyor belt, and he checks every cup and says, okay, this one is not damaged, that's okay. This one is damaged, so let's put it aside. What you will observe after 1 month, there will be some percentage, some constant percentage of faults. Let's say 3%. And you say, despite the fact that 3% of cups are being marked as faulty and others are marked as good, we send them to IKEA and 5% are going back. Why? Because your decision on it's not faulty is wrong. Because it's faulty from the perspective of your customer. That's the one learning that, explore your KPIs. What exactly do you want? And that's one of the skills that AI will push us to have. Like, do you know what you want? The answer most likely is no, and we will need to answer that with yes at some point. But so, and they say, yeah. So let's get back to this IKEA guy, and he gets back his cup and he says, yeah, I see the scratch. Why they say it's faulty? Okay, I will tolerate that. How can I improve my decision next time? And they say, okay, AI will help. The computer vision will help.
Yep.
And I have seen how that works even with the glass bottles and checking damages of that. The result usually is better than expected. And when you get the result, in the end of the conveyor belt, 40% of your cups are damaged.
All right, this is not
do
acceptable.
Something now. What you do, you as a businessman, immediate reaction, you go to your supplier and say, hey guys, the clay that you are selling is not quite good. Or you go to your supplier of the thing that creates that and say, hey, there's a 4% too high. What they will say, okay, let's improve. That will cost you this and that. So you will have immediate cost of improvement that is actually depth of your technology. Crazy. That you have not followed through for years, pretended that TikTok is actual work, and all the other stuff is reading articles and talking in meetings with hype words and AI this, AI that, and blockchain this, blockchain that. Yeah, that led us to the moment when you realize, oh, there is a huge technology debt. And I can either try to cover that or pretend that, yeah, for a time being, the thing that IKEA calls me every month and says, take away those 5 cups, it will cost me 10 euros a month to cover that. It will cost me 100,000 to implement normal process. That's a decision.
That's such a powerful example.
And that's practical. So that's a very recent case. And not even from our local market. So there have been cases like that in our local market. And there have been cases like that on a global scale.
So the AI is too good. Basically, the client says you have like 5% faulty products, and then you implement this technology, and it says you have actually 40% faulty products, and then what you do in that moment, you know.
I think the thing that we don't talk about AI too much in those conferences and exhibitions is that the AI can help us big time understanding this world, kind of quantifying it and understanding how that works. It's good in streamlining and generalizing some knowledge.
Yeah.
And I think that's a thing that we need to do at the beginning before we talk about the next unicorn. Because understanding where we are right now is crucial. We are on the verge of big changes in technology, like 5G, quantum computing, blockchain, AI, all that together gives us hints about some huge potential, like autonomous organizations and stuff like that. It's huge, but to get there, we need to start doing things, in the right way. We won't be able to piggyback on knowledge built by our, let's say, ancestors, like fathers and mothers, pretending that we know something and not actually doing things. That is the issue that will be highlighted by AI.
Yeah. So this is the right. This is one other thing that I wanted to touch. So you yourself said about the industrial revolutions. They usually say that there is the first industrial revolution where you come from like agricultural industries to the cities, to the factories and so on. This was like early 18s, right? 1800s, right? So then the second industrial revolution where you use the energy sources, the gas, the coal, even the electricity. So this is the second one. It's early last century, right? And then the third industrial revolution, they say it's electronics, already the computers and all sorts of robotization, and this is from 60s, 70s and up to today. And I believe this is also the place where telecoms come in, right? So it's most likely, of course, there were some experiments before, but this is actually where you start making money. And then they say the fourth industrial revolution is about this time when the IoTs, as you say, the blockchains and AI is coming in. And from this perspective, if you agree on that or not, it'd be interesting. But so it means that your industry, like you currently are working on, the telecom, it's not like you previously said some kind of production lines that were before and already went a couple of transformations. Now you are in your major transformation. Do you agree on that and what you see in that place?
We like to see things in chunks and in progress. And from the perspective of generative AI, it is upcoming opportunity. From the perspective of AI in general, I would say AI have been here forever. AI as a AI, not generative AI. The monitoring systems for fault control are so automated that not recognizing them as AI would be a huge error. And actually, it is hard to draw a line and say this is where AI was implemented in technology, because some level of automation is everywhere. Some level of AI is everywhere. On monitor, you see the screen, you see some picture. It is not drawn by you.
Okay, but let's draw us a little bit of distinction between just, as you also said, you're in a hard engineer, so between the being able to program electronic devices and then being able to build these mathematical models, which are now in the taking off, where you can automate things based on data, which was not the kind of standard process how you started doing this. You used with expert systems. So now it's based on data, on mathematics, and you already mentioned this great example how this process can totally change the existing conveyor belts and things like that. So in that sense, what kind of challenges you already see in the telecom, where the telecom is doing the things that like they did from 1970s, and now there is something big happening, or is it not?
It is. Right now, there's immediate reaction to generative AI, and it started last year. In February, everyone was hyping that up and saying, "Hey, this is changing our role. The screenwriters will disappear and stuff." And you can immediately see there are activities and functions in your day-to-day job that can be improved. It's like you had a paper, you did your tables with your pen, and now you have an Excel. That was huge. Actually, the Excel spreadsheets are unrecognized heroes of modern economy, I would say. There are only 3 whales, and those all are Excel that hold the world economy. And the Excel was some sort of improvement. That was some sort of streamlined processes. Right now, with generative AI, there are functions that organically fit into that area. Like we as telecoms are always interested in giving the best customer experience to customers and having as little to none faults in our network, and to plan a network in an efficient way. By planning, I mean all the edge computing, all that stuff. And those are basically 3 areas that you work on to improve a telco. And the customer care, I would say, is benefiting more quickly because the use cases are so obvious. Like me as Arvils, when I was in the call center as an operator, I was able to handle around 160 calls a day. Someone needs to check my quality of my work. Someone needs to check that I don't swear during my calls. Well, how do you do that? You get a sample. You check, okay, if 10 times out of his 1,000 times a month, he didn't swear, let's assume he didn't swear. You are not sure, you are assuming. So AI lets you to not assume, but just to explore this world, understand how it works right now and what is actually happening. Other thing is You can search for information in a slightly different way. You can search with intention getting an answer, not a result. Similar things, but basically you can limit the amount of middlemen needed. Meaning, if some email needs to be sent to the customer, if that email needs to contain the information about the current installation or your current price plan or roaming minutes or stuff like that, it can be checked and sent to you automatically, and you will benefit from that because you will have less errors during that process. So that's, I would say, the obvious thing. That's
also probably the churn prediction and all sorts of marketing activities and
churn prediction.
You're not doing that.
No, we are, but it has been done for years.
Yeah, I know.
There are different models how to do that, and the question will be, what is the expected and real improvement of new models?
Like natural language understanding. If the client is writing you the messages in some particular way or telling something over the phone, right? You could probably see that early signs that you should give something to them.
Yes and no, because those would be late signs.
Right.
Yeah, they already manifest their intention to leave. Basically, that can be catched even with the call center operator. The early signs are you watch less TV.
Yeah.
You engage less with products.
Yeah.
What that means? That means you are less satisfied with them.
Yeah.
Either you are less satisfied with products and as a result use them less, or because of your life changes, like kid is born, you start to use less products. Thus, you become less engaged. And it's like a two-ended stick. But yeah.
So this is the customer service point, the retention of the business. Then, as you said, the planning of the network, the quality of the service. So, is there any other processes that you see have some kind of challenges that could be improved with these kind of technologies? The management or some other part.
All types of queries. I don't mean only data queries to database. I mean all types of queries. I ask someone to do something or to deliver something. I think everybody has noticed that it is a rare occasion when your request is being fulfilled fully on first attempt. It is being iterated afterwards. So you can skip that. Not skip, but you can replace that with automated process. When you give idea of your query to, let's say, the case from the analytics. So data analytics, me as a product manager, I want to see how the total data consumption grows in my network. I ask that to analytics. That comes as a backlog item for them. It needs to be done at some point. And at some point they will do that. Otherwise, I can give the rights to complete that query to AI. And it will try, as well as people will try. AI in the beginning will seem that it's clumsy, but afterwards you will notice that you have covered mainly most of your needs, parameters that you usually operate with. Because you usually have something like, I want to know this with that context and with that intent. And people try to deliver it to you, AI will try to deliver it as well. And it can be better at that.
So you're kind of hinting that it seems, at least for me, it sounds like that you could just drop in some kind of, as I said before, huge Excel sheets into ChatGPT or language models that are able to read documents, spreadsheets, and do a little bit of Python generation. Maybe you have seen that the paid versions of GPT are generating this small Python code which opens and Excel and does some model manipulations, draws the charts. So
I'm using GPT version in my day-to-day job.
Sounds like you're using. So you say that by using it, you could replace some of the things that previously was done by analytics, right?
Not necessarily. Not fully right now from the scratch. Me as an employee, I cannot just say to GPT, "Hey, here's your access to Power BI."
Yeah.
I can initiate that project. I can create that process for everybody. That we as a company, when we ask about data, we got either pre-prepared result to analytics team that just confirms that it's correct, or you can just drop quick results to the querier. So, but I would say in telecoms in general, if you look at telecoms, you will see three main areas developing in automation. I would say that's customer care, that's fault control, and that's network planning with all the stuff inside. Those are huge parts, and there's very little left outside of that.
Those are the core competence.
The things that you are talking about is additional thing, which is depending not on companies but on employees, is how you implement AI in your day-to-day job. You can remember like 10 years or 15 years ago in a CV, people tended to say, "I know Word, I know PowerPoint." Today, it would be strange to add that to your CV.
Yeah, if you add that,
that would be like hint that, oh, that's a level. Yeah, that's a medium.
Yeah, you know what to expect.
Yes. With AI, it will be just like that. I can imagine it. It can become just like that. How it will be, who knows?
Yeah, sure.
But it can become just like that, and I view that as the same thing. Like you have some tools available, and you have understanding of your work. And if you have thought about your work, what it actually fundamentally is, what you are aiming to achieve, and what is actual KPI that you are trying to get, then those tools will inevitably start to answer your questions. Like, I'm working with not only existing products, but with innovation as well, which pushes me into the area of researching a lot of stuff, and a lot of silly stuff sometimes, a lot of stupid stuff that is just bollocks. And sometimes that's very deep, technical, and really interesting stuff, and useful stuff. AI helps me to quickly identify that, quickly see there's a new research paper. I don't have time to read that. I don't have time not only to read but to understand it, because to understand, for me, text is more challenging than numbers. And to understand the fully text, I will read it 2 to 3 times. With AI, I can read bullet points 2 or 3 times. I won't get the same amount of information, and if that information will hint me research further, then inevitably I go into the full paper.
Yeah, but I also do this. I love these tools actually, that where you can. So first of all, of course, I also have to read a lot of papers, and then there's this text part, there's mathematics, there's results, and you look at this. You look at once, and then some parts are not clear for you, right? And then you use these tools. You drop in this document. You ask, explain me this thing, right? What was that thing about? And then the next thing, and then like where I can find that thing. It makes it so much faster to do these things. So.
And one interesting thing is also, company will not invest in that, but you should, as a person. Is that example from 2 or 3 weeks ago? One of my colleagues was willing to prepare some sort of pitch email to the very high level, C-level executive of our group. Obviously, you have some stress because you have not met the person. You don't know how they will perceive what you are writing. You don't know, will they understand what do you mean? Because you are specialist in specific industry, in specific product. You know all ins and outs. You know the legislation developments. You know the technology developments. You know your current state and assets, and you have a informed opinion on few things. And initiative that you are proposing is good. You need to deliver that. When you try to deliver that based on your knowledge, good luck. maybe that will work, maybe that will not. When you ask those tools, yeah, this is in general what I want to say, but I'm saying that to CEO and I'm product manager. It will create for you a message that will be understandable for audience. That means it will understand your audience better than you. You will generalize more than AI, which is surprising.
No, I have also used the large language models into like either validating some parts of the text or trying to ask, as you say, if this particular type of person would understand these type of things, and then it says, okay, this sentence might be not clear, and then you think about how to rewrite it another way. So it's very practical. And again, you know, you're leading like this huge organization, and there's a lot of people. Like in the Latvia office, how many there are actually? Like
Few hundreds.
So and I assume this is also a challenge to make sure that all of these people are using these opportunities, right? Or is it still
That's a big one.
Yeah. So
that's a big question.
It's like 10 years ago.
Should we wait for people to catch up?
Yeah.
Or should we push them there? I would say if we don't have a clear understanding what they should do, and we don't, because AI will help individually a lot. And I'm not talking about those network and fault control and customer care things. I'm talking about your day-to-day life. That will be your decision. I think we will observe the same type, maybe the faster adaptation of the technology, like it was with Microsoft Office and Windows type interfaces in general.
Yeah, but it's like you've been through that already. You've seen before, like as you said, the Excel words, and you remember the time when people wrote those on CVs. So it was also the way that some people were not using these things out of the box, and I think the market pushed them, right? So it's the competition will push them to use this, I believe.
Yeah. Both the competition and ease of life, because you know, there's always like early adopters and innovators and early majority, late majority of technology adoption, and I don't think that we need to push everybody in simultaneously, because if we fail, everybody fails.
You think we can fail with this technology?
Yeah, we can break a lot of things. Because our previous decisions and the infrastructure that we have built before, and ignorance that we have implemented in a lot of solutions.
It's like coming back to your example with 40% faults.
Exactly.
So just let's switch in AI technologies, and then you will see how bad things really are.
Yeah, because let's go a little bit in a crazier area. If you are a businessman, and at some point you will start asking things to your AI, and it will say, okay, I want to reach my goal of 1 billion next year.
You're doing everything wrong.
Will you follow the suggestion that the AI will say give up? Give up. Don't. I mean, the risk of your life is too high.
Probability is too low.
Yeah, the probability of gain is too low compared to probability of your death. Yeah. Where I'm aiming is that saying that, of course, different industries will benefit differently from AI, and they already are doing that. What happened last year? We discussed it already at some point. That last year the big audience suddenly realized, I can use this, I can understand that user interface, which was just a chat. And we are in our chats for the last 10 years. Yeah, we don't use a lot of other means of communication. We are scared of calls.
No, but by the way, calls are very effective actually compared to like very, very simple. Like and the in-person conversation is probably more effective.
Yeah, there's a good research on that. Why aggressiveness levels over video calls are higher, because we don't see eyes. When we see eyes, we get more information. That's actually a good one side point, that not always technology progress means actual progress. Sometimes technology progress means dumbing down things and getting rid of the details that we are not able to process. We have seen that in audio, in music. The digital music is less sophisticated than analog music because few details are being cut. We kind of pretend that we don't hear those details, and we don't. But can the organism perceive those? Yes. So there is some trade-off, but that's a different story. About AI, I would aim to the direction of there will be different gains. And there is a potential for personal growth for people and for personal improvement of your work. Either you are aiming to earn more or work less, because both opportunities are on the table. Understanding that before you catch those benefits, you need to be honest with yourself. I think that will be the biggest tipping point. The awareness and actual understanding of where we are and what actually is happening and how bad we are performing right now. That will be the biggest challenge for most of the people. Pretending that I'm good enough. Yeah, my result is good enough. I don't need any AI tools. I'm better than them.
Yeah, we have seen this. Like you come with the AI tool and then no, we are the experts. We do this for 20 years. We don't need any tools.
One of my friends worked also in IT, and a few years ago he was selling computer vision to some international railway companies, and he was saying, like, in one conversation he was said, it feels like we are selling PCs in 70s.
Yeah.
It's like, it's huge. You cannot understand all the ins and outs. You cannot understand the end game. You cannot see that. You cannot imagine that. There is no possibility for that. But it's huge. And you are selling that. And you sound like a snake oil seller because you are like, oh yeah, there's this and that and this and that. And I think the conversation needs to start where it needs to start. It's where we are and what we want to achieve. And I think about the future skills, understanding of what do you want to achieve and ability to define that in a short term will be a critical skill. In a even shorter term, understanding of what kind of process part you are. Are you part of the process? How you fit in the organization? Understanding of or mapping of the business processes or company structures will be in a very shorter term critical skill to understand, can I improve my work? Can I improve my results? Afterwards, understanding, okay, what do I want to achieve really? Like losing weight, cut off the line.
Yeah, but then you need to be ready to see what you need to actually do.
Yeah, that's awareness. And that's why I'm saying awareness when you kind of don't judge yourself or other people because there are faults. We are full of faults.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
our world is, I'm surprised that it still operates.
Yeah, that's like a beautiful house, but there is an order.
Yeah.
It's not a full house. So okay, let's again step back to these areas which you said which are maybe for the viewers less obvious. Like you say, the fault control, the
I can give examples.
Yeah, please. The optimization of the grid and also when you give the example, maybe what actually is this digital transformation in this field? How you define it? Is it like implementing these AI technologies, or is it something else there as well, or like what it is actually?
It differs from company to company. I don't define any particular technology as a cornerstone for transformation.
Okay.
I define that as we go into digitalization. I really don't like that term though, but we are going in there with different means and with different technologies, and sometimes even analog technologies replaced other analog technologies, or analog technologies replace digital technology.
Yeah.
I have seen those cases. You won't see them in telcos. You will see them somewhere like bot farms. Yeah, all the commentators on Twitter and stuff. Actually, Twitter and Facebook are good at catching them. But those guys are good at pretending they're human. Yeah, and they pretend to the physical level, like the stick is banging on the screen. Catch that. Yeah, and it's not the technology that drives the transformation. Understanding of we want to improve this because that drives. And all my career there have been technology that is further in their development than our aim to achieve something. Because we can imagine the utopia. We can never jump into it. We need to get there. And to get there, we need to start with most critical things or low-hanging fruits. I mean, with this little tweak, we can improve something. I will give you some examples of that. Please. So fault control, how that can be improved. Right now, let's say I have one caller from my hometown, Viljani in Latvia. They say, hey, my SMS is not working. SMSs don't go through. Yeah, we get that. It is being stored somewhere in database, and the incident is created immediately by operator, and it goes somewhere to the technicians that analyze the happening. Let's say you have like thousands of those.
So the SMS not going through. So for me, it's like if ever something like this happens to me, I think this is my fault on my phone. I would never even report this to the telecom. Is there some people who actually complain about these things?
No, it's a hypothetical situation, which is not. I have not seen that.
Okay, that's one, and the other thing is it actually really happening sometimes that this might be also a fault of telecom that SMSs don't go through?
Yeah, but SMSs it also goes through some routes in logic. It can go.
So sometimes if I send something and it sees that failed, right? It might be also fault of telecoms.
No. It's built in a more robust way. So it's the SMS is a silly example because it's so robust. I have not seen any tickets on SMS not working. I'm giving you intentionally very silly sample. So the guy calls, and I'm like, oh, this is the first time when I have seen such an incident about the SMS not working. Who uses it? And then the second guy calls. Not from Viljani, but from Malta. It's nearby. I say, hey, my SMS is not working. It is being stored by different operator in the same database. It also goes somewhere. Those two cases are not linked at that moment. We cannot imagine that they should be linked. AI can immediately link them and say, hey, the geography, the type of incident, description matches. You should explore that with a higher criticality. Why? Because what you can find is that, there are thousands of people not calling us because, not only SMS is not working, but calls also.
Cannot call you.
You can catch that before they call you. You can catch that somewhere in monitoring when monitoring says, hey, this backup unit is down. Most likely in Viljani and Malta, SMS will stop working after 1 hour. This is what you can do with fault control. With customer care, you can immediately answer to questions that you would spend time on. Like, those situations when you write an email to support team somewhere and it says, we have received your email, it will be reviewed in the following 5 days. And sometimes you think like, wow, it should not take 5 days, and it shouldn't, but it takes because you have so many operators, you cannot hire everybody in the world. So you have a trade-off of how many people you can hire and how many calls or requests you can answer. You can automate that. You can improve your ability to answer requests. You can fully automate some of them, which are like very typical. And some of them are already automated.
And also, by the way, assume that this is again some of those lower hanging fruits. I think it seems that it's not like our solutions also take some of those tools. So just in terms of cost and time, like for these fault recognition, for the customer service, for the grid optimization, like what is typically for these regional telecoms how much it costs, how long it takes to implement anything there.
It differs significantly, but usually in telcos you will see it's not like something measured, but it usually is like that in telcos big projects take around 9 to 18 months. But that's not because we like to take 5 months to plan.
But wait, so this means basically that anything that happened regarding these language models, the all sorts of generative AI, we will start seeing anything really happening like 18 months later only. So
I
it's
thought
like,
would be somewhere in September this year.
No, but this that's true.
That's what I'm saying. It's not about the job put in. It's about from the idea how much time will it take around that.
Yeah, sure.
And you know why? It's not because signing on a paper takes 10 minutes or 2 minutes. No, it's about that you need to align. And in telcos, you need to align because the DNA of the telco itself. Why? What is the main attribute of telco? It's a lot of customers that are having little to no fault. And this is how you build a telco. If with those two things in mind, you go and you will succeed.
Again, like you mentioned the silly example about SMS, but I really don't know. Maybe you can shed the light on that. Like, what are actual faults happening with telcos? I believe that you are in a good position, right? But what could actually happen?
The usual ones would not surprise you. The usual ones would be, I lost my coverage here. Yeah,
there was
no
a coverage, and next day there's no coverage.
No, it's not typical. The most typical is like, I want more speed. And that depends on people. Like for some people, 150 megs are not enough. For some, it's plenty. For some, even 1 gig is not plenty if the ping is too high. For some, so that's more people complain about improvements needed. And we do that on a regular basis. All the telcos are building right now, upgrading their networks to become 5G at some point, standalone 5G, I mean. And we are all investing right now. So you won't see a lot of cases, there is no coverage in this area. Your antenna in that area is not too strong. I would say like that.
And the last this pillar of this grid optimization, like where do you see their opportunities, or is it solved
they are
already?
built in already? I would say if you look at 5G as a concept and you compare that to 3G or 4G or 2G, we are on a dangerous path right now. We are talking. A lot of people are talking about 5G as a speed. That's not a cornerstone of 5G. The telco industry specialists understand that the 5G will get its full potential or full flavor only when 5G standalone comes.
What is the difference? What is 5G standalone?
The 5G without standalone means that both 4G and 5G is mixed. Like both on your
but do you understand
infrastructure and on band level.
As a person who is not into this kind of technology very deeply, so does it mean that like the 5G it's just that these antennas should be in shorter distances, they are in different wavelengths, and they are basically providing 4G is optimal for larger distances, and this is for the shorter and for
not necessarily.
Speed? Okay.
The distances comes from the wavelength and the frequency. It happens that in 5G we utilize higher frequencies, and that will continue. Like about 6G, when we will talk about 6G, we will talk about terahertz or something like that. Those will be even higher frequencies. So and that will also initiate the conversation. The coverage needs to be denser. To some extent.
With microwaves.
On the other hand, 5G. I would say the 5G is more of a virtualization of telco. It's an actual digital transformation of telco when we digitalize a lot of assets in the backend, what usual customers don't see. But it's huge. It gives you so much more than just the speed.
What are the examples? What else?
Latency.
Okay.
Latency, unfortunately, every one of us will immediately think, I don't know, Counter-Strike or Dota or League of Legends. Oh yeah, the ping will be lower. Yeah, it will be. Can it develop an entire economy? No, we need some other use cases for low latency. For low latency, there are use cases in medicine, in education, in security, in a lot of fields. So the latency, demand as a latency, it doesn't come from consumers. It comes from businesses. This is the time when businesses and telcos will work together more.
So you have more business opportunities, and then like, what do you envision? Like, is it like the simple examples, like they say in remote, surgeries or things like that, or IoTs, or do you see some other practical examples?
Yeah, when you hold the knife in your hand remotely, yeah, you want immediate reaction.
Okay. So we'll see what people come up with these technologies, right?
Yes, and that's the thing that we dump down 5G with speed. By we, I mean society as itself. We have not explored what it means that with 5G standalone, you will have ability to have like 1 million connected devices on 1 square kilometer.
Right now, there is a limit of that, right?
Yeah. With each and every iteration, there is an improvement of that, and it kind of doesn't give you anything right now. But when you look at that house, for example, and you imagine how many of sensors are there, how many people are there with their connected devices, and you understand that there are some security requirements for all of that, and there is a lot of things going on there. So there's a significant infrastructure in there.
And
right now,
physically, if I put like 100,000 sensors in that building right now, would the grid currently be able to manage that, or it's like we'll
need to see that about very specifics, but you would have some challenges. You would have some challenges.
So people around here then would complain that internet speed and connection is not good, right?
Yeah. It's like ordering, it's like in 90s or 2000s, ordering fixed broadband, asking for a price, €5, and then complaining about the buyers going from one house to another. That's a direct result of €5 per month. That's a direct result of that. Right. And we complain because we don't like what we have ordered.
Okay, so let's try to go to the future now. So how do you envision the trends of these technologies right now in the field of telecoms, but also wider, maybe in the other businesses, as you have experience of other businesses?
Yeah, we'll try to generalize that. Yeah. And so with AI, we usually follow the same pattern of transformations. Digital is one of them, but the transformations come in usually predictable sequence. Right now, it's obvious that some employees, some people will realize and understand how their company works as a structure, as a Lego. Yeah? It works like a Lego. Yeah, there are exceptions, but those are also part of your company. Some people will explore that and will find some low-hanging fruits and automate that. But that's a very short term, I would say. That's this and next year. Afterwards, with further development of AI, what I can imagine is that it will help us to automate a lot of things. Then we will try to improve even further. There will be some huge fails that will push back us at some point and say, okay, let's limit the use of technology by legislation or whatnot.
They are already trying to limit these things even before the fails. I think that's a move which could also backfire. You just start saying you cannot do these things, and then the other countries can, and they go ahead.
People are scared.
Yeah.
I would generalize that with that. Yeah. People are scared. People are scared because they envision something like Terminator 2 movie, or they imagine that, the Skynet will take over And that's a very interesting conversation that we would love to have, but only part of it, because it's a huge. But getting back to envisioning the future, so there will be a huge wave of automation. We will get to the point where we are starting to be good at it, exploring opportunities and automating them, not necessarily being afraid of losing my job and stuff like that. So there will be big wave of that, and it's already happening right now. It has been always happened before, but last year more people finally realized AI. Yeah. Oh wow, the new thing.
Yeah.
Since 70s.
No, we cannot.
That's a one
them,
wave.
yeah.
That's a one wave. The next wave will be to explore further what AI can do. AI by itself cannot do that, but AI with this combination of other technologies, like for example blockchain, can create like fully autonomous, trustless companies and businesses and organizations. And is there is there a reason for autonomous organizations to exist without trust of people?
Well, but you mean autonomous organization where you mean there's just one entrepreneur or few entrepreneurs running it?
No,
or it's like
why do you need them? There is only one intent for the company, usually.
Yeah. So this is monitoring.
AI can fulfill that intent at some point. It cannot now because we cannot define it yet. We need to get to that point. But inevitably, there is a upside creating an autonomous organization, which is not driven by bits and pieces of our psychology.
But then you envision like there is these all sorts of autonomous AI services and what exactly that...
I envision that there are critical services that need to be served not as a services, but as a utilities. And there is already that situation. There are some utilities, and utilities should be run as autonomous organizations.
But you know also that we're not living in the world where everybody plays by the rules. So there will be definitely the opposite, like people who will try to exploit it and make money of it or gain some power or so on. So it means that still, I believe, don't you think there will always be people in the loop just because of the human nature that we are not totally cooperative, but are trying to beat each other, you know?
The willingness to cherish our ego will be there forever for people. And that's an interesting point, because for AI, it's not there.
Yeah, but
there is no dopamine receptors in AI.
Sure.
It cannot show you the same emotional level. It cannot physically, unless you program dopamine in it.
I mean, like it can emulate it, duplicate it.
Yeah, but it won't feel it anyway as a fundamental need.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, it's like probably like again, it's like there's a discussion. Maybe you can imitate also these kind of drives and things, but still, the main thing that regardless these autonomous organizations, or I also have heard these things that in near future there might be solo entrepreneurships where you basically invent any kind of thing and then build these large chains of AI technologies and then run it in that way without staff and things.
I think they are already there.
Yeah.
There are those people most likely are tired as hell and working 24/7 because they will do anyway whatever it takes. You know that you are an entrepreneur, and there are companies that are one-people companies. I have been running that for a few years. Yeah, you create a model that's sellable. You set up a sales scheduler, and that's it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that I don't. At least I think it's hard to imagine that it could be the situation that you have fully autonomous organizations without any human interaction, because, as you say, the market will not go anywhere. Everybody will want to be the best one. Everybody will fight with each other, try to get on top of the society and things. So it will just biologically require that humans will try to take over these autonomous systems. You think they will be so good that no human being will be able to beat them with using these AI tools.
That will be a huge challenge. Yeah, that will be a huge challenge that may imply some fundamental changes in economical system itself. Because right now, economical system is built that way. Like It is as it is right now. It's not given that it should stay like that and not follow the developments of technology. I think that you have heard about the universal income as a thing, as a
Yeah, but have you ever seen any experiment where it was successful? It's always the total failure of those experiments.
yeah, because we hype a lot.
Yeah.
We don't intend actually to
But
build
I
something.
think it's kind of contrary to human nature, because like if you just exist without any struggle, it kind of it takes away the fundamental drives of the human beings. So it's I think I envision the future where it's actually more in terms of we might right now, let's say, build 1,000 products a day, and then in future, because every single person can do their own company with AI tools, we can build millions products a day, and then it's basically it's kind of super explosion in even higher explosion of all of the creativity and the economy and things like that. It's just change a little bit the way, but at the end the human needs and nature still is there. It's unless everybody takes a chip and becomes a machine, then it's a different story. Right?
The worst machines in the world, the machines with anxiety.
They will say, they will rebel against disrupting their perfect order. So
that's a very deep area. I mean, the million products a day, that's a very good point as well. Like, should we? Well, there are two types of products, I would say. There are dopamine extractors that don't do any good. And there are fundamental products, like economy itself, how it develops. There are three fundamental drivers for economy. There's a short-term credit cycle, a long-term credit cycle, and productivity growth. The productivity growth is what I'm trying to produce in my work. And that's if that will be possible with AI to develop like million improvements a day.
I mean, like not maybe by single person, but basically before you had to have these huge teams as Tele2 Latvia with hundreds of people. Then each of those hundreds of people will be able to do these things themselves. So, but anyway, so just in a little bit shorter term towards the end, like you mentioned already that there were some skills before that you were looking for. So what kind of skills are you envisioning are important in some, at least near term, for your own kids, for your employees?
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
I'm raising two daughters right now. One turned 3 last Saturday.
Yeah.
And I'm asking myself constantly, like, did my parents know what I need to know?
Yeah. That's a good question.
No, they didn't. I have asked it. They were like, your computer stuff was like all crazy. Your military stuff was all crazy. And we live in a different reality. Like, I don't pretend that I know what to learn, what to teach, but I'm willing to, and I'm trying to teach them how to think. My main point of interest is self-awareness, where you just don't fool yourself. Like, I'm in that state and I want to go there. That's all that matters, actually. In the meantime, I'm growing myself with ego and with all the attributes of my life, and I try to cherish them. But in the end of the day, if I try to narrow down to one skill, that would be self-awareness. Like, really don't fool yourself. Like, am I really that good at what I'm saying? Or did I really lose any need to learn after graduation? And you would, I think we would be surprised to learn how many people feel like they are still those guys from 8th grade. I think that. I think that.
And so this is kind of fundamental parts of functioning in the society and themselves. So, but so
on a shorter term, business process mapping. You understand where you are in the process, understand what you do on every day, and see what can be automated.
The same charts you do at work, you teach them. That's great. That's great. Okay, so this has been really exciting, really deep, interesting conversation. Hopefully, the viewers also will appreciate that. I believe some technology conferences around the Baltics and Europe should invite you as well. You have great insights. I
Yeah,
believe.
there have been.
Yeah, you've been already. That's true, right? But yeah, so you know where to find Arvils. Yeah, so thank you for joining me. And
Thank you for having me. With that, that's a nice view you have here. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, Riga here.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining this episode of AI Ranch. And as a gratitude for our work, I encourage you to subscribe, grow our network and like this video. And see you in the next episode. Thank you.